guys, so today's video is gonna be all about foundation and how to choose the correct foundation for your skin tone, particularly anyone who's like around my skin tone, which it can be kind of hard to find your right shade. So I'm talking about like Indian skin tones, like mostly tan skin tones, and if you speak MAC it would be around let's say an NC 42 to like NC 45. The first thing I want to talk about is using a primer, a face primer. So primers are basically just to prep your skin to put so that the foundation will go on much better and have a better staying power, and it'll look a lot smoother on the skin too. So the ones that I like at the moment right now are the Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Moisturizing Under Makeup Primer. It's kind of a mouthful, I know. But what I like about this one is that it's so hydrating. So especially when it's in the winter months and your skin tends to be a lot more dry than usual, you always want to make sure your skin is well moisturized before you put any foundation on top of it. Otherwise it'll just look very caked up and it won't lay nicely on the skin. So this is what this one looks like. It's like it's kind of like lotion, the texture of lotion, and you just rub it into your skin and make sure it's fully absorbed, and it'll just give your face a much smoother texture to put the foundation on top of it. So what I like to do is use that in combination with another primer, which I know is a little high maintenance. Of course you can always just find one that fits your needs. Like, it depends on what your skin type is. Like if you're more dry, obviously you would want a more hydrating primer, such as that one, the Laura Geller one just now. Or if you're more oily, as Indian skin tends to be, you would need a more mattifying primer. Or say you have large pores, like I have very large pores on my nose and near my nose and this kind of area here, which is pretty typical, I feel like. So you can use you have like pore minimizing primers and mattifying primers. They tend to say that. So the one I like at the moment, I just have this little sample right now, but it's the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer, and this is the smoothing one. So that's what it looks like. Well, this is the mini one at least, and the texture would be a lot different than the hydrating one. So all you need is like a little bit, and it's a very thick, it would be like a thick kind of very smooth texture. All you want to do is just kind of rub it in the areas that you have the large pores and then that you have the most oil production. So it kind of helps. You can use this one in more targeted areas then. And you just smooth it into the skin until it's fully distributed and absorbed. And then when you feel it, you can definitely feel a difference in the texture of your skin. So when it's on your face, you would notice that your foundation would glide on a whole lot better than if you were just to apply it directly to your skin. The next thing before I get to the actual foundation would be the tool that you use to apply your foundation. Now, my favorite tool has for the longest while, and I think will always be until they make something better, which I don't know when that would be the Beauty Blender, which is just this, looks like an average pink sponge, but it really isn't for some reason. I don't know what it is about this particular material, but it just blends out your foundation like nothing. Foundation and under eye concealer for that matter. Any cream or liquid product on your skin, this does the work for you basically. So it usually comes smaller than this. It's called a Beauty Blender, by the way, and it usually comes smaller than this when it's dry. And then what you're supposed to do is run it under the water for a few seconds and just keep squeezing it and then letting it get wet again, and then you keep doing that until it gets all puffy and squishy, kind of like this. So, and then you squeeze out the excess water, and then you're ready to use it. So what you would how you would actually use this is that, sorry, I'm using my hand as for all demonstrations today, but when you apply what I like to do is like apply the product, say foundation, with my fingers onto, or maybe I would use a brush. Like if I'm doing this on a client, I would use a brush and apply the product, distribute it, like maybe dot it or just do some strokes on the face, and then use the beauty blender. When you're blending out your face, you can use this part here and then just bounce it on the skin like this. Clients love this part of makeup application because everybody says it feels like a massage. And then this would pick up excess product and then redistribute it, so it just blends out so easily and perfectly every time. And so this part here now, this more tapered shape, is what I do under eye concealer with. It's shaped like that so you can fit it in the contour under your eye. So same way you can apply the concealer with a brush or your finger. If you're going to use your finger, use this finger because it's the weakest and it'll apply it most gently. So you apply the concealer under your eye, and then you take this part of the beauty blender and you blend it out just like so until it's you can't tell that there's a line or anything of concealer. It'll be well blended out. So this just does the work for you. I love this sponge. On to actual foundations now. So I have a few favorites, particularly for my skin tone and anyone around my skin tone. But the first thing you need to know and look for is what your undertone is. So undertones are important because different foundations can be either very pink toned, or it can be yellow toned, or it can be neutral. So that's how skin tones work as well. So I feel like Indian skin tones tend to have a lot of yellow in them. And then that's also a very warm undertone too. So you have warm undertones and then you have cool undertones. And the cool undertones would be more like very pale skin tones. I saw a way that they like to describe it is that warm skin tones tend to look better with gold jewelry, and cool skin tones tend to look better with silver jewelry. So I mean, it's kind of a rough guide, but you can kind of tell. And another thing is to look at not only what the color of your face is, but kind of look down your neck and even this area, like your chest area, just because our face is the one most exposed to the sun and light, so it can tend to be much darker than the rest of our body. So if you were to take a foundation and just match it to your face, then you would kind of accentuate the fact that your face is darker and then this area is much fairer. Whereas if you were to match it to like your neck and your chest area, which more often than not it's lighter, and you make your face that color, then everything looks uniform, if you know what, if that makes sense. Okay, so the palette I'm going to use to demonstrate the foundation colors is actually a palette by Graftobian, which is a professional makeup brand. They do kind of specialize in like stage makeup and high definition makeup and so on. So this is what it looks like. I'm sorry it's so like gross and all dug into, but it's well loved and well used. I use this on every client that I have. And this palette is actually called the Graftobian HD Color Cream Super Palette in Warm. So it says, I can just read you the description. Formulated to yield flawless high definition results whether or not you're in front of a camera. For a complete foundation color okay, that's not relevant. But anyways, this is high definition makeup, which means it'll look really well in photography and on camera as well. So this is the Warm palette, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it has like a lot more yellow tones in it, which is really good for anyone around my skin tone. Colors like, I'm just gonna do swatches right there. That's an example of what it looks like on the skin. There's another one. And another one. There you go. So what I like about these colors are they're almost pure pigment in them, so they don't have like all the other things that like a store-bought bottle foundation would have, like for instance like fragrances and that kind of thing. So they're good to use on sensitive skin as well, and they just blend into the skin beautifully. Like cream products, I feel like are very easy to work with, and you can manipulate them a lot more. These can actually be used as like concealers, and you can cream contour with this and that kind of thing, which is why I love it for my personal needs, like to keep in my freelance kit and use on clients. But for the regular everyday person, I know it's easier to just get a bottle foundation, just a regular store-bought foundation. So, but I'm just using these to kind of give you a guide as to what you need to look for. So, when you're testing shades on your skin as well, I know it's tempting to just swatch them on your hand and then think what's going to match your face and your body. So what I encourage you to do is when you're shopping for a foundation, two things. One, when you're checking it against your skin tone, swatch it. First of all, remove the makeup that you have on at that moment and just swatch it on your skin, and do test the foundation in this kind of area, like on your jawline, and then you'll know what would go well with your face, as well as match your actual complexion of like your body, so it matches from your chest straight up. And then two, ask for samples. That's if you're in the US and you're actually shopping in like department stores or like in a Mac or something. They're actually really good about giving samples, so you can always just ask them for a sample of this color and take it home and try it and see if it works for you, and then you can commit to buying the foundation, because I know foundations are not cheap, okay? And then what you need to do when you're swatching the foundation on your skin is just kind of not necessarily swipe it, but pat it just use a patting motion, and then just blend it out, and then see how it blends with your natural skin tone. So as you can see, I'm tapping that last one there and blending it in with my skin, and then you just look to see how well it just disappears. If it melts into your skin and you can't really tell where the foundation was, then that's the one you want to go with. Also, I know that they have like salespersons there to help you color match and so on, and I know most of them do what they can to help you, but by no means solely depend on them. Sometimes half the time they don't know what they're doing, and then the other half of the time the lights in the store of itself can distort how things look. So just kind of have your own knowledge of it and try things for yourself, and then examine yourself in the mirror when you try it, and just think about what you like, what you think looks best on you. In terms of regular store-bought foundations, so the ones that I tend to like a lot are by this cosmetic brand called NARS, and this is the one that I like at the moment, and this is called the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. That's just what it looks like, and this is actually in the shade medium dark Tahoe, and it's a tad too dark for me, but I blend it into my skin well, and then I make it work with concealer and powder. So that's another trick to know too, like if the foundation is kind of a little too dark for you or a little too light for you, you can make it work depending on how you set it, what powder you set it with. So if say a foundation is just a little too dark for you, you can always use a little lighter powder, and like maybe just one shade lighter, and set the foundation with that, and it tends to balance out the tones. So what I like about this foundation is that it's really lightweight, as it says, weightless, but yet it's full coverage, and it's like very, very liquidy. So if I just put one drop there, and I'll show you how it blends out. So as you can see, it looks a little too dark for me, but like I said, I make it work. Because I'm kind of between shades in this foundation line, and it just, as you can see too, it has like a lot of yellow in it, and that tends to complement my skin tone and Indian skin tones for that matter really well, as opposed to like another foundation which can look a little pink or a little muddy on our skin. So this is one that I like, and it lasts hours and hours. I mean, I've had this on for like more than 12 hours already, and it didn't even look like I'd had it on for 2 hours. And another foundation that I really like, which is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, it's like the NARS one, was full coverage. So you would like cover a lot of marks, and you would get a really flawless base with that one. But this is the MAC Face and Body Foundation, which is also a very liquidy consistency and lightweight, and it's a lot more sheer coverage, meaning that it wouldn't cover a whole lot of marks and that kind of thing. But there it is, it's just a drop I used, and you work that into your skin. And the thing about this foundation is it's waterproof. It's very liquidy. I know my swatches have turned into a melting pot of craziness right now, but I just want to show you the textures and how you would check them and so on. So what I like about that one is that it's waterproof, and for the days when you don't want an absolutely full-on face of makeup, using this lightweight foundation just kind of smooths out your face and gives you like, it kind of, what do you call it, what's the term, it evens out your skin tone, sorry. It evens out your skin tone, and that's basically what you need a foundation to do. Everybody's needs varies, of course. Like some people would want high coverage to cover acne scars and that kind of thing, but this one is just like a very nice everyday, like a day-to-day evening out your skin tone foundation. You set it and it would be sweat proof and that kind of thing. So like for hot climates, it would be perfect. Some other foundations that I wanted to mention, but I don't actually have them with me right now, just because I'm traveling and I didn't bring all my foundations with me, would be the Makeup Forever HD foundation, which now they've reformulated and called the Ultra HD foundation. That one is really great for photography as well. It just photographs beautifully, so I would recommend that for like brides, and if you have like special events and that kind of thing. That's a really good one, and they have a very wide range of shades in their foundation. So sorry, I'm really winded. So you have a lot of shades to choose from. I think I am in the shade 173. I can't really remember. I haven't bought the Ultra HD one yet. I have the old formulation. Just waiting for that one to finish. But yeah, apart from that one, there's also the MAC Studio Fix Fluid, which I like for photography as well. It looks really beautiful, especially flash photography. It looks absolutely flawless, but I just don't like how well it wears in like hot climates, and I don't find it to be extremely long wearing either. I feel like it gets very like it settles in fine lines a lot, and it'll kind of melt off when it's hot. But I found that if I mix that with when I mix it with my MAC Face and Body, I can actually get really nice a really nice finish with it. And apart from that, my other favorite right now is the Cover FX Natural Finish Foundation, Oil-Free Natural Finish Foundation, I think is the official name. That is so beautiful, especially in photos too. It's just, it gives you such full coverage, but at the same time it looks very natural. The only thing about that I'm actually wearing it right now, I think. Yeah, I'm wearing it right now, but along with the NARS Weightless Luminous Foundation I just showed. So it depends on, you know, what you need a foundation to do, how much you need it to cover, and also how long you need it to last. So another thing that you need to remember is that you should set your foundation with the powder. That way it'll last a lot longer throughout the day, and it won't like smear and come off and that kind of thing. I am not very picky with the powders that I use to set, but like I have a L'Oreal one that I like, which is obviously just from the drugstore. It doesn't have to be like a MAC powder or anything like that, which those are beautiful, but I'm just saying it's not 100% necessary. Another really good tip about foundations too is when you're choosing a foundation for like flash photography and something to, like, you know, when you're going out nighttime and you have like special events, you know, you're gonna have your picture taken a lot, you want to use a foundation that does not have any SPF in it, or just a low SPF content. That would work as well, just because the SPF in foundations and products is what would give you that white cast on your foundation when you take a picture, and that is not a good look for anybody. You can look for any, you can check, make sure your powders aren't too white either, or that your powders don't have SPF, or that they don't have silica in them. I know that that's an ingredient that can tend to give powders that that white flashback with flash photography. So that's another thing to look for. And another little trick is that when you're going out, when you're doing your makeup for like nighttime and flash pictures as well, is that you don't want to go too light on your foundation. If anything, you can go like half a shade or one shade darker, just because it'll look a lot more natural when you take a flash picture. You won't look so washed out or so white or anything like that. So I think that's pretty much all the tips I have for now. I'll make another video at some point down the line talking about concealers and how to choose an under eye concealer and how to choose a concealer for spot concealing and that kind of thing. But for now, since this video was pretty highly requested, I just wanted to put together a few tips that I had, and I just hope this was helpful in some way. I know a lot of people struggle with finding their correct foundation shade, and a lot of people have just bought expensive foundations thinking that this was the right shade for them, but it turns out it was like the wrong undertone and that kind of thing. So I know it can be a little overwhelming sometimes, but just try. I mean, just try different things, and that's how you know what works for you. And you always want to test them with flash and get samples if you can, and that'll help you out a lot. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope it was helpful to you in some way. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also please subscribe. So that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hi guys, so this is my first actual sit down talk through video, so please bear with me if it sucks.